Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to another episode of Positively Star Wars, where we are talking about the Acolyte Episode 6, Teach/Corrupt. My name is Landon, Crash Landon Mini, but you can call me Lando. Today, we are dissecting Episode 6 of the Acolyte, and there's still a lot to like. Before we jump into the details, let's recap what happened in Episode 5. We are coming off an intense battle in the jungle, where we now know the potential Sith we knew as Chimere is now the stranger underneath the mask. We were also 1 out of 9 for Jedi survival, and Saul just left them out there. Headed back with him is May, pretending to be Osha, and left with the stranger is Osha, a potential new pupil for the stranger. We start out with a copy of the Rude Awakening shot from the beginning of the series, with Osha waking up on her Trade Federation ship, only this time she's with the stranger on a planet unknown. I tried to figure out where these planets were on the Star Wars map, like Olega, the unknown planet, but a lot of these planets haven't been added to any of the fan Star Wars maps yet. I've heard some speculation about this being Ahch-To, where Luke was hinting in the sequel trilogy, but none of that has been confirmed yet. I wouldn't doubt it's somewhere slightly different. We should compare those creatures to the other ones to see if they can grow that large in 170 years. Luke was staying in a hut at the top of the mountain while the stranger is in a cave at the bottom, less than 200 years earlier. So why wouldn't he be staying at the top of one of those? There are stairs on the way up to them. If it is Ahch-To, and those aren't there yet, who built them? Because no one knows where this planet is until around episode 7 or 8. The stranger is quick with the mind games, commending Osha on her stance when she challenges him at that hot spring area with his lightsaber. He asks her if it feels good to hold a lightsaber again, trying to connect with her time as a Jedi. Then he talks about if it's honorable to kill an unarmed and naked man, when a few hours ago it would have been justified in battle, signifying all the rules that are put on a Jedi in combat. Knowing she's not going to kill him, he shows her what he's working with, he gets dressed, and then he heads back to the cave, knowing she'll follow. We do get confirmation on the Catorce's helmet. We also hear that it has the ability to block other Force users from reading or controlling your mind. Also, we see later that you can barely see through it, so it's supposed to amplify your senses like those training helmets worn by Luke or the other Padawans. The stranger says it's just you and the Force, and whatever you take in with you. Try it on. Back with May and Soul, they finally take off, which I wasn't sure if Basil would have a chance to stop that from happening last week. Soul does immediately try to alert the Jedi, but his transmission is fuzzy and they weren't able to get the details. So at this point, no one has heard about the Sith or a red lightsaber yet. Finestra does hear that the whole team might have perished, so she and Ma get a team together to go investigate, like we'd assumed that they do last week. Her and her team find all the slain Jedi in the same spot the Soul left them, and at least Jackie and Yor got one more scene. We finally see the lightsaber whip everybody's been talking about. It's been a thing in canon for years, and this is the first time we get to see one in live action. Back on the ship, we see Soul trying to get the comms up and running while the ship is having its own issues. We see May trying to sneak up on Soul, only he senses she's there and enlists her help to take over the controls. Once alone, we see Soul go through a range of emotions while trying to fix the transmitter. He again teases, telling all about Brendock before another distraction. May fixes the pip droid to help troubleshoot the ship, and it's unclear if Basil has anything to do with Soul figuring out the twin switch. But Basil definitely confronts May before running off again. They begin to have one more conversation about Brendock before he figures out that May has switched with her sister, and he has to go figure out some other things before facing the council. Soul deliberately turns off his comms as they tell him that they're on their way. What we are seeing is the struggle of the Jedi to keep a certain level of power and anonymity while navigating through this High Republic time period. This is, of course, the beginning of how they start to lose their way before we see the destruction of the Order in the prequel movies. Characters like Finestra and Soul are hiding too much from the Council and the Republic, and that is all going to come to a head soon and make way for the Republic to have enough oversight on the Order that Palpatine will be able to infiltrate the Senate and subsequently use the Jedi as he sees fit. Soul was almost able to get the story of Brendock out, but he had a power outage as the interruption this time. I think the point where he realized it was May and not Osha is when she said, "I had to lose too much of myself to become a Jedi." For some reason, I think Soul knew that that's not how Osha felt. They've probably had many conversations about it, and while he was always hiding something from her, he always taught her to confront and overcome your feelings, and even now she didn't blame him for anything. May was letting her emotion out too early, And when she stomped off towards the cockpit, I think he knew then. Maybe it was the mismatched pip droid that tipped him off. Either way, I don't think he knew till that conversation. Now, what can we expect next week? We are still waiting for the flashback episode, or at least scene, and I think it might be in episode 7. I think that'll be part of Soul's explanation. We may see two sides of it, May and Soul's. And through that, we should get to see what the Endari did, Kilnocta and Torben fighting, and get our answers. I also expect to hear more about the Stranger's time as a Jedi. How long before Osha was he in the Order? Who was his master? Things like that. He obviously had some connection to the Witches' Coven. Did you catch that he said he wanted the power of 2? No need to sing the song, though. We saw Osha put on the Cartosis helmet at the end of the episode. How far will she go towards the dark side? I am enjoying this series still, and it's only gotten better since episode 4, which is the last episode that people saw ahead of time. Those people had everybody thinking the worst for like a month, and I'm glad that they were all wrong. And as we've heard, those are mostly people who haven't liked anything since The Force Awakens. You can't really rock with those guys. But that's all I have for you guys this week. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments, and if this is your first time here, help me out and hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot more than you realize for the channel's growth. And I was serious about the sweepstakes. That Star Wars timeline book, I want to give it away, and all you have to do is subscribe. If no one wants it, cool. I'll just buy 1 instead of 2. If no one subscribes, cool. I'll still make some videos. But I would like to create a community, so help me out if you can. This is a Jedi Mind Trick. Next week's video should post around the same time, Thursday-ish. Help me quit my job, and I'll try to get them out the same night. But again, I'm Lando from Positively Star Wars, and remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the page for more videos like this every week. This is the way.